one of the most hotly anticipated titles of the year has finally come in the form of Far Cry 5. Now, I'm going to preface this whole review with the statement that I still think Far Cry 2 is the best Far Cry game. We can argue about the semantics of driving around in the African savannah as long as you want, but you're wrong. As far as a story-driven game goes, it is the best one. But they've all been pretty good. And so what I thought I'd do is I'd bring Shane on to discuss Far Cry 5 and how it fails to live up to its predecessors.
There's a lot of things that I feel like are a little bit just a bit off to Far Cry 5.
Yes.
And I'm coming from I like Far Cry 1,
Yeah.
which,
Well, Far Cry 1 didn't have a real story. It's kind of like the Crisis thing. You're sneaking around the island and blah, 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 blah.
That had like the aliens or like monsters
the
or
triarchs or whatever they're called.
Yeah, those were pretty cool to kill. It was just fun. Whereas like this, you're very much versing humans, and you are basically almost a bad guy killing bad guys. Well, that's what I feel like.
Let's clear off something first.
Okay.
From a gameplay perspective, if we're talking pure checklist Ubisoft game, where it's like fill out a list of points that you have to acquire, blah 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 blah, the game's fine. Like, it is probably one of the better checklist games we've made recently. Addition of partners is fine. The way they do that is where you can have 3 random partners you find on the street, and then the 9 special partners. The way they do weapon progression tied to the existence of the story is okay as well. As far as a checklist game goes, I think the game is absolutely fine.
The gameplay. The gameplay is still freaking amazing and Far Cry like. Like, if you've enjoyed a lot of the other Far Cries, you're probably still going to enjoy this one for the gameplay.
Correct.
And even the co-op, even the multiplayer, and the DLC that's probably going to be coming out and still probably going to be good.
And which is one of the high points of the game is the DLC. And this reminds me a lot of Red Dead Redemption in that front. Whereas I didn't like the Red Dead Redemption story too much. I thought it was too far up its own ass, right? But the Undead Nightmare DLC was actually a lot of fun because they didn't take themselves quite as seriously. They had a lot more, what's the word I'm going to say? Self-awareness. And that is the biggest issue that Far Cry 5 faces. This is a ripe setting. It is fertile fruit to be plucked, and they just let it rot.
So I'm going to bring up something, and it's probably maybe slightly contentious, but okay. The first part is you're versing John's area.
That's the most recommended part. Now, that's the other thing we should mention, is that it is open world from the start. You can take on whoever you want.
So there's, 4 different areas if you want to be that, and the tutorial area also.
Doesn't matter, 3. Yeah.
So 3 main areas. But you first go to John, that's the recommended, and one of the first, I guess, main characters that you actually meet there is like a priest, a Catholic Christian, one of them.
Christian. He's a pastor, not a priest.
Yeah, pastor. So, well, first thing he basically does is he saves you with a gun, killing another cultist.
Yeah.
Self-awareness is something that's...
And that, again, that is exactly the kind of moment in this game that really ruins it. They went in hard. They really were going to play up it's the Messiah, it's the second coming of Christ, blah, blah, blah. And even the endings don't justify that angle that they played. They go into it with this idea that, you don't feel the intimidation of the cult, you don't feel the allure of the cult. It's like, basically, we've taken the 3 main plagues that, and obviously there's the 4 of them, so 4 horsemen of the apocalypse, blah, 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 plague, famine, blah, blah, blah. It's such an obvious analogy, and yet it still doesn't work because they don't commit. They say the J word twice, and both those times it's in the exclamation of, oh, Jesus Christ, like I'm falling down a hill. They say the T word once. They say Obama more than once.
The funny thing is, though, is there's a lot of good actual just singular pieces.
Yes.
Singular, I guess, story pieces that are really, really well acted and stuff, and really well voiced.
The acting is 100% not the problem either. They do a really good job of conveying their characters. It's just the writing is absolutely pebble.
Yeah. And it's just like really, really disappointing. That's probably the best word for it. Disappointing, because there are so many good key pieces, key notes even. They just don't connect to anything big that's really there. Like, then it just doesn't exist.
The biggest indictment of it for me is here's this mental cult that's taking over our state, that's hell-bent on the apocalypse, believe in their own rules around sex and religion and all that kind of stuff, use drugs to entice their people. But you know who's going to save us from them? The doomsday preppers who believe the apocalypse is coming. They all had drugs in their little shacks when I went down there. Basically, it's like they're all mental. There is no good side. Even in 4, like they did a great job of showing the 2 sides of the changing world that you were in. 5 is a missed opportunity. As a game, it's a fantastic game. I'm really looking forward to the DLC because I still had fun playing a Far Cry game in the Far Cry way. But as an opportunity to be something more than that, 100% missed its opportunity. It's a shame.
At least you can fly fish.
That's the best part of the game by far. Sell that separately.